What's going on, guys? Today I have another very exciting video for you. We are going to be talking about Alibaba stock again, and this, in my opinion, is your last chance to buy Alibaba stock. And what I mean by that, this is your last chance to buy Alibaba stock under $100. This stock is going absolutely insane, and we are going to be talking about why and why this trend is going to continue into the near future. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below, and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. Let's start by taking a look at Alibaba's chart. Here today, they were up 4.78%, which is an insane move for a single day. But over the last 5 days, they are up 20.5%, which is absolutely crazy. And it gets even crazier when we zoom out to the last month. They are up 38.11%, which is absolutely insane. This is a crazy move for any stock, and Alibaba is a stock that has been beaten down in a very severe way. If we look over the last year, they are still down almost 20%. We can see that the stock a year ago was trading around 110, and if we go back 5 years, we can see that the stock is even down 50% from 5 years ago, and from its high here of around 310, it is down even more. We can see that the stock is down 71% from its all-time highs. So still absolutely a long way left to go for the stock to get back into a profitable range, but right now it's having an absolutely insane move to the upside. And let's get into why and why that is likely going to continue. One of the things that at first glance seems like a negative, but in reality is a positive for the stock, is there have been an incredible amount of protests and riots throughout China. And all of these riots have been centering around the pandemic lockdown, the zero pandemic policy that they have in China, and basically the public absolutely hating these laws and these rules that are in place that lock them in their homes for numbers and numbers of days and weeks at times. And it's absolutely tearing down their economy and just tearing down the people in China, and they are sick and tired of it. And this has been all over the news that they have been rioting, going out, peacefully protesting, everything that you can imagine. And basically the reason this impacts Alibaba so much is that obviously this affects their sales and their business growth. And the fact that the people of China are coming out and actually protesting these laws and finally kind of standing up against them, it is a very big positive for China's economy overall, because this just leads more and more to President Xi Jinping to actually remove a lot of these restrictions. And we saw a few weeks ago that there were rumors coming out that China was already looking at a March timeframe of trying to start to remove a lot of these zero pandemic policies. And now it's kind of anticipated that a lot of those will start to move forward and be even pushed more to the forefront of everyone's mind, and trying to remove those at an even sooner date, which again is only going to help the Chinese economy. And we're going to take a look at the earnings at the end of this video, because what could be very, very interesting coming down the pipeline is if a lot of these analysts start boosting their earnings projections for fiscal year 2024 for Alibaba. So as I mentioned a while back, we heard that there were rumors out of China. They've been really focused on two things to stop their zero pandemic policy. The first has been obviously bringing their pandemic numbers down, and then the second has been elderly vaccinations. They've been had a really high focus on trying to get more of their elderly population vaccinated to prevent the spread of the virus and everything. So the one way, or one of the ways that this has actually affected Alibaba's business, is it had a big effect on their 11/11 day, which 11/11 day in China is basically the Black Friday of China. And actually during that time this year, they had 15% of the country's delivery areas were barred, and this disrupted the company's ability to fulfill orders. So basically during that time frame, one of the biggest sales days of the year in China, they couldn't deliver to 15% of the country. So that is obviously going to have a huge effect on their business. And the company didn't actually release any of their numbers for 11/11 a day. They kind of just hinted at the numbers being in line with what they saw last year. So obviously these lockdowns are having a big effect on China in general, on Chinese population, and also on the businesses within China. If the lockdowns ending wasn't good enough news, we have even more good news here. So Alibaba has given the go-ahead ahead with another $15 billion in share buybacks, which will last until 2025. This is in addition to the company's ongoing $25 billion share buyback program, under which it has purchased $18 billion in shares through November 16th. So it has already purchased a huge amount of shares, $18 billion worth this year. And this is $15 billion on top of the $25 billion. So they're up to $40 billion of potential share buybacks through 2025. And if they actually complete this program, so purchase all the shares that they possibly can through 2025, it will have bought back 10% of its stock by 2025 based on its current market capitalization of $213 billion. So this is absolutely insane, right? 10% of the stocks that are outstanding would absolutely have a huge effect on the stock price and is going to affect investors and everything in between, because you are going to start seeing the PE ratio fall as the company buys back more and more of its shares. You are going to see earnings per share increasing, all things that are going to attract a lot of value investors and investors that basically just see the potential with this company moving forward. And then on top of that, if we see a green light from the SEC at the end of this year, you are going to see a ton of investors start getting back into stocks like Alibaba because it is going to remain listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So there is a massive amount of positive news here moving forward. And we even have some kind of funny good news. So Jack Ma was recently spotted. He's actually been living in Tokyo for the past 6 months. And it's kind of funny and interesting because actually Jack Ma was thought of to potentially have even been gotten rid of by the Chinese government, that they kind of just were sick and tired of him and his public speaking and what he was promoting throughout China. And there was speculation that he had actually been, basically disposed of by the Chinese government. And that obviously affected a lot of investors' viewpoints in China, basically looking at it as, the Chinese government just basically runs and owns all the businesses and they do whatever they want. So the fact that Jack Ma is actually still alive and still walking around and just enjoying his life is overall a positive for the stock as well. So as I mentioned, there is some absolutely insane things that could go on with Alibaba stock. And one of them being that if these lockdowns start being lifted, we could start seeing a lot of analysts or start raising their guidance for next year. So what we could see right now is the current year was sitting at $7.34. That probably isn't going to change. We only have a month left in the year. But next year, their next fiscal year is 2024. And analysts right now are projecting $8.55. So if we do a little math, we can actually pull up this calculator and we can take that and find what the PE ratio is sitting at right now. So it's at $90.06 divided by $8.55. And the PE ratio right now is sitting at a 10.53. But if we start seeing a lot of these things lifted and we see potentially, let's say we go to the high estimate here, we could see $90.06 divided by 11.15. Right now, you could potentially be at a PE ratio of actually closer to 8. Again, that's obviously a more positive outlook. That is a lot of things going right. But we had a similar opening up with the US. And if we see something with China where they start stimulating the economy because, they've had a lot of issues with their housing market as well. And we start seeing a lot of money kind of flowing into China and flowing into the overall population of China, we could start seeing a lot of spending at Alibaba and start seeing its EPS grow in a major way. And a lot of analysts start bringing up their guidance in terms of their EPS and in terms of the overall stock price. And that would have an absolutely massive effect on the stock price overall. When you start getting analysts that are coming in with more and more positive news, a lot of people listen to them and a lot of people buy into those stocks. So that could be an absolutely huge mover in the stock. And if the stock keeps trending how it has right now, in the next week, we could be over $100. And that is why this could be your last opportunity to buy Alibaba under $100. So with that, again, none of this is financial advice. Do your own research. Look into your stocks before you purchase them and make sure you are understanding what's going on with them, why it's happening, what you believe is going to happen in the future. And then obviously, if you like a stock, put money into the stock. If you don't like a stock, then don't put money into a stock. If you don't believe in China, this is not a stock for you. So overall, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day.